Okay, welcome to another inbox review. I'm in a bit of a roll, so I thought I'd crack straight on with this one. Revell F105G Wild Weasel, 148 scale, kit 04504, skill level 4, bit of artwork of the finished model. Sorry about the light. Looks pretty good. Usual colours, call out for Revell paints, and probably I suspect just a bit of information on the actual plane. Second-hand kit I picked up. The box is a bit battered. I have had a quick look just to check everything was there. It appears to be complete as far as I can tell. You know, typical Revell, really. You generally get some really nice box art. I particularly like that one. It's pretty good. Let's get everything out of the box. Let's start with the instructions. Fairly standard Revell instructions, really. Probably not much to say. Picture of the finished model. Bit about the aircraft in German and English, technical details, that sort of thing. The kit actually says 2007. Well, this was printed, I guess, in 2007, although I'm pretty sure the kit is actually an old monogram mould. I won't go through this, really. It's pretty standard stuff. You're familiar with models and symbols used, general sort of health and safety type stuff, do's and don'ts. Going to be an interesting one for colours, as the main colours are all mixes. So I don't use Revell paints. I think I've got maybe 1 or 2 tins that I've somehow collected along the years. So I'll be looking at trying to find either Tamiya or Mr. Hobby or Valero or something to match those. Sprue call out, looks like you can actually build the G or the F version. Step 1, as I say, a bit of paint information, some holes need cutting in the main fuselage. Cockpit detail, fairly standard. I don't think there's any decals by the looks of things, although actually there is a decal symbol here, so maybe there is. Fairly standard, wheel bay, gun, cannon. Fairly quick build by the looks of things, fuselage halves going together. Wings, interesting, it's got this sort of brace for the wings, which should be quite good. Engine, tail, nose, wheels, landing gear, that sort of thing. Crew, which is always a nice add, I think. I wish more kits did it, particularly now. You know, sometimes I like to do mine in flight, and of course then you've got to try and find some crew. You know, no planes, well, few planes fly themselves. Doesn't look like there's a massive amount of ordnance for this one. There's a few AGM 78. Fuel, I guess it's probably a fuel tank. Yeah, centre tank. Looks like it's a gallon tank, 450 gallon tank option, and an AGM 45 missile. 47 stages really. I think 48 is just the stencil details. Stencil details for the weapons. And then we've got a number of variants. I think they're all in this tri-colour scheme. Yep, looks like it. We've got one that's, where are we? California 1980. California 1980. Da Nang, South Vietnam 1970. And then we've got also, that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variations. Thailand September 70, another Thailand 1973, nice shark teeth version there. Pretty standard instructions. We'll have a look at the decals next. These actually look pretty good considering this is probably an older kit. They're nicely in register, and luckily, although being second hand, there's slight damage there, but it hasn't affected the decals. Printed in Italy. Wonder who makes them. But they all look really good. I think you'd probably be able to read. I can see a very tiny nose step which I can read there. Sorry, the lighting is rubbish at this time of night. But it all looks good. Looks nice. Should go on well. Revell decals generally are pretty good. Don't normally have much of an issue with them. All in one bag. I don't know whether this is how it originally was. Unfortunately, it's so second hand, so the kit looks as though it's been at least partly played around with. Two main fuselage halves. The detail looks pretty good. There's a little bit of flash here and there. Doesn't seem to be any nasty sink marks. There is some marks on it where it's been in the box, but we're not going to be doing a metal finish on this, so I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. It is raised panel lines. Depends on your feelings, I guess, whether you like them or not. Obviously, if you want to do a wash, the recessed are going to be better, but the detail's quite nice. It doesn't seem to be warped particularly. The two parts seem to fit together, so it should hopefully go together quite nicely without too much filler, because obviously with raised panel lines, as soon as you start filling and sanding, you're going to lose your panel lines, and obviously getting them back is going to be quite tricky. But that all looks, again, it's going to be quite a large plane. I don't know. Wing detail, again it's all raised, and typical of these older kits, I guess. Maybe that's more a monogram thing, I don't know, but you've got this that's going to have to be sanded and removed. Revell 1980, well it says 1982 China on there, I don't know what, I'm not sure. One piece injector seats, actually again they're not actually that bad, although if you're going to do the pilot you're not going to see a lot of it anyway. But if you weren't doing a pilot, they're not bad seats for the age of this kit. The pilot figures themselves, again sorry about the lighting, it's absolutely rubbish at this time of night. Let's move that, see if that's a bit better. The pilots are pretty good, they're actually going to be quite nice. I thought I'd lost one of the arms, but it's now in another, I found it and put it in the little bag. What is nice, quite nice on this kit, is the instrument detail is very good actually. Again, for a kit of this age, some nice, with some careful painting, that should look pretty good. Actually, quickly go back to the decals. I didn't see, although it mentions decals on the instructions, I can't see any decals for instrument panels there. To be honest, I'd probably rather paint them anyway, but sometimes it's nice to have the option. Really careful I don't lose any pieces. Again, there's actually there's no real flash on here. There's the odd little bit here and there, but nothing that would cause you too much of a problem to clean up. The level of detail is quite good. Again, for an kit of this age, there doesn't seem to be any horrible injector pin marks or sink marks, even in the sort of bits here. There's actually quite nice detail on the landing gear. You can see it's actually got the pipe work, which again a lot of kits are often lacking, so that's quite nice. As I say, there wasn't much in the way of ordnance, but there's a bit here and there. Again, it's all raised panel lines, although if you wanted to re-scrub them it would be quite straightforward. Reasonable amount of detail on here. I don't know how well you can see that, because there's bits of detail on there. good. There's a few bits that have fallen off. The cockpit, I'm not quite sure whether these bits are supposed to be part of it, but that's actually broken. I think that's part where the injection seat's going to sit, but we can probably repair that. You've got sideboard details. So again, with some careful painting here, should look quite good. There is some injection pin marks here, but of course they won't be seen because their seat will sit there. That's where the man's arm is. There's a few little odds and sods in there, I won't take them out. Clear parts, I will open these because I haven't actually had a look at these. At least they're in a separate bag. They look very, very thin. Yeah, they're actually quite nice. Again, for an older kit, they're quite clear. They're not perfect, but they're quite clear. No real flash. They're very thin, which is nice. That one's coming off. I think, you know, and there's no centre seam line, which is always a bonus, so you're going to sand that out. I think maybe a dip in some clear, and they should be really good. Cool. I think that's going to be quite a nice kit for its age. The camouflage should be a bit of a challenge, but it should be interesting. Great, thanks for watching. Cheers.